Hello, welcome back to Fist Entertainment. This is the main studio area now. Lighting is just a little different because the way it was in the previous location is we had an upstairs. I am in the basement of a quite large house. No, I did not live alone, but that's my business. But should be able to hear me a little bit better now. The last one you could hear me just fine, but I do prefer a microphone. And let's talk about 2001's very controversial but essential movie that I think is kind of a coming-of-life film. Now, I came across this film at a much older age, but first the unveiling. This is the Arrow limited release. There probably will be a regular release, but this is the limited release of Richard Kelly's Donnie Darko. Beautiful set, as you can see. Has cards as well as a little book in here, as well as the theatrical cut in 4K on one disc and the director's cut on 4K on one disc. And it comes with a very large booklet, which is pretty common for Arrow to go ahead and give you this type of treatment for limited editions. It's just, your typical type booklet. It just talks about the movie and all that stuff. First off the bat, what people have been saying about the theatrical cut on the limited edition 4K set. Yes, it does have the defects that you were talking about. But I have a good memory. I think everybody knows I have a very good memory. The strobing effect that you guys are talking about, lighting effect, digital thing issue that it has, that's always been in theatrical cut, as far as I can concern. Maybe I was unlucky and unfortunate when the DVDs came out, because I only ever owned the movie on DVD before this point. I remember some kind of weird difference in the picture from the theatrical cut to the director's cut. It's probably not the same difference, but let's be honest. All people want to rant about this great box set here. You're not going to watch the theatrical cut anyways. It's already been very much established that the director's cut is the definitive version of this movie. That's been made very, very clear. Well, my thoughts on the movie. I was very fascinated with this movie because there's so many science fiction time travel films. This one, although all of it was made up from the mind of Richard Kelly in a lot of ways, is much more accurate than people want to give it credit for in terms of being realistic to what Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking was actually talking about when they were talking about traveling for wormholes and alternate realities, and how the universe has a mirror of itself in a parallel, and how even the human body can be a vessel. As a matter of fact, this is one of the very few movies out there that talks about what's known as mental versing, which is using your self-consciousness in your mind, in deep meditational states and stuff like that, to travel through essentially a interdimensional wormhole inside the space-time continuum itself. Now, it doesn't really say that in the movie, but I come across individuals like me have a high understanding of quantum physics that talked about this type of way of traveling through space-time continuum, and it's remarkable what they were talking about. And these are actual people that know their craft. What they're talking about is very relevant in Donnie Darko. I found that very interesting. They're far more educated in it than I am. I have very scratched the surface on wormhole theory as well as all the other quantum theories of relativity, but these people knew what they were talking about. So let's go ahead and rush this up. The plot of the film. A psychologically handicapped individual. I would say that I don't really know what's wrong with him, but a psychologically unstable individual by the name of Donnie Darko has been having dreams. This guy is psychologically unstable. He set fire to some school or something, and they moved or some stuff like that. I don't think it was a school. He set fire to some building. Got put in jail. Went ahead and has to go for therapy every single week. Has to take psychotropic pills to suppress psychological episodes. Yeah, pretty troubled teenager. He's been having dreams about this very weird-looking imaginary friend called Frank, which of course is this guy right here. And he's telling them that the world's going to end. The world's going to end. And tells them to leave his house at some time. And very quickly after that, a plane that no one knows where it came from falls out of the sky into his bedroom. And if he had been there, he would have died. And then we see all of this weird, bizarre stuff start happening to everybody around Donnie Darko that eventually destroys his world. Now, what Frank means by the world's going to end doesn't mean that the world itself is going to end. What he means is that Donnie Darko's world is going to end. And then we find what that revelation kind of means by the end of the film when he starts figuring out what is going on with him. After reading a book of a philosopher of quantum theory, relativity, who talked about mental version and stuff like that, he actually figured out what Frank was talking about and who Frank is when all these events unfold themselves to where his girlfriend is killed by a car accident. Then he shoots the person who ran over his girlfriend in the eye right here. Where he has one eye. We find out that actually is Frank, which is why he wears the mask in the first place. And we find out that this is kind of like the movie in itself rewinds itself in some ways or form. And by the end of the film, he finds out the world is ending is in, okay, I have a choice to make. Either I stay in this room, let the plane fall on me and kill me, and none of this bad stuff will happen at all. And I kind of, close the gate, the dimensionary gate, whatever, to what would happen. And of course, we do find out that the plane was actually from an alternate future to where, after all this stuff happened, his mom and his little sister were on a plane, and the plane, well, malfunctioned, and they all died, and it crashed in this room. Now, do I think it's a little bit stretchy to say that that plane can still exist, killing him in his bedroom, but everything else doesn't? That's kind of a little bit out there. I think the plane wouldn't exist either, right? But He dies, and obviously, they did make a sequel called Darko, but I had no interest in watching it. It takes an interesting individual like me to truly understand this movie. Now, the quality. The 4K transfer is very good. Keep in mind this is a 35mm film, so it does have that 35mm digital kind of counterpart look because this was made in 2001 during the digital realm. It has lots of good colors for what it is, but where it really pays off is in the deep blacks. And so, yeah, your high dynamic range in Dolby Vision, depending on which one you use, on your setup is definitely going to love you. They always tell you on these 4K discs what it mostly consists of. Fortunately, it doesn't look like it's telling me on here. But it looks more like an HDR 10 and not a Dolby Vision. So expect it to be more HDR and less Dolby Vision. The audio, this is the same 5.1 DTS HDMA that I guess existed in the Eder Subclip Clint Blu-ray releases of Donnie Darko. So what that really means for people that want to know is that the 5.1 DTS HDMA sound presentation has been slightly enhanced with a slightly higher bit rate in areas of the film to make it more dramatic, but overall is exactly the same sound, just a little hyped up. That's usually the case with 4K titles that recycle audio presentations from the regular Blu-rays that existed before. People don't tell you that, but I will. But Donnie Darko, have you seen it? Have you not seen it? If you haven't, I suggest you do, and try to follow the movie. If you can't follow the movie, watch it, enjoy it, and then watch somebody like me. Or watch this review, and hopefully I helped you understand the film. And I'll see you guys next time.